But, you know, in the back of the van, which is full of dead corpses, and Michael, you hear bang!
Yeah.
Bang! And someone climbs out of the back of the truck.
Frankenstein.
It's Frankenstein! Oh, wait,
no,
not
it's Michael Myers. I'm sorry.
It was William Shatner.
No!
Oh, it's not William Shatner.
Yeah, so Michael...
Sabretooth.
Michael is up, and he's none too happy. He walks over...
Really?
There's some...
And he was in a lovely mood.
Well, gee, his sister did just shoot him. And, you know, 6 guys just did molest him, and probably that hot, naked, dead chick landed on top of him. I doubt he's too happy about that.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of blood in the upper right-hand corner of his mask above the right eye, but no bullet wound, no indication at all that he's been shot. And he goes walking over, picks up a bone saw, and looks at the one paramedic who was, like, trapped in the wreck
Help
saying,
me,
fuck this, help me,
help,
fuck.
Fuck me.
And just saws his head off. He saws his head off with the bone saw. And to be completely honest, really cool kill. It was actually very cool. And that's the real bitch part of this whole movie. All the kills in it, regardless of their situation.
Not a lot. Most.
A fair amount.
A lot of the kills in this movie are very well done. In terms of effect, in terms of presentation, very well done.
Brutality,
It's just a shame.
I gotta give this movie the kills. I really, right up front, I'll say it. This movie has better than adequate kills.
You know, again, I'm going to have to go with the same thing I said about the last movie. It looks great. It's well acted. You know, the kills are great. The whole fault of this movie lies on the story. The story is horrible.
Yep.
The script is horrible. The dialogue is horrible.
Oh, and
Don't forget nonsensical.
And speaking of nonsensical story, after he cuts the head off, walks a couple feet and just drops it, we get a wonderful shot of a white horse in the distance down the road with Sherry Moon Zombie on top of it, in a long white dress with... It was almost just like a medieval kind of gown. It's got big arm sleeves, and it's got, like... It's very frilly, and she's got long
emo
white hair.
eyeshadow.
Yeah, emo eyeshadow, white hair. And she's like, Michael, you know, it's time to come home. We have Halloween is coming. We need to be a family again. And it's, what? We need to be a family? And Michael's just staring at her.
You're not done, Michael.
Yeah, she says something like, you're not done, we have work to do, we need to be a family. And she calls it going home. So I guess now it's turned into fucking Soylent Green.
Yes.
Remember Soylent Green going home?
Going home
Yeah.
means you're going to die.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
Well, it's people.
That ruins nothing.
I've ruined it.
No.
It's people.
Now I'm leaving.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I'm
she's
back.
like, we need to go home. But not yet. You have worked. Essentially, it's no joke. He's Jason now.
Yes.
He sees hallucinations of his mother telling him to do things just like Jason.
Not to mention he's also, like, 10 feet tall and jacked, like
Yes.
Jason.
Yeah, I don't care.
And, you know, easily rises from the dead. Like Jason.
And likes to grunt a lot.
Like
Like
Jason.
Jason. Wait a minute. He's Freddy.
Yes, it's Freddy.
He's Freddy.
If he's Jackie Earl Haley? Or
No.
Earl Haley?
Not my Freddy yet.
He's not, well, where are we at to see that? Anyway, yeah,
Back
basically...
to this movie.
No, I don't want to.
Back to this movie, because
Damn it.
we're at the part that really made me want to leave the theater.
Okay.
You know, the movie was playing.
It's a claim of I don't know why this is happening. I don't care if you throw some stupid psychological term in the front of it. It's Jason. It's a mother-son syndrome thing, and we've seen it done 1,000 times in another series, and there's no reason to see it now.
And the way they present it as the visions or hallucinations or whatever is very, very confusing and out of nowhere and repeated throughout the entire movie. It's like sketch comedy in the middle of The Godfather.
The thing that really bugs me about the hallucinations is every time you see Michael, you see child Michael standing in front of him. You know, it's to represent it's the little boy looking out.
Yeah.
But there's always little boy Michael standing in front of big Michael throughout every time the hallucination takes place.
It's a very shitty attempt at being clever, and as we'd mentioned before, David Lynchian and artistic, and it's predictable.
This
it
wasn't
falls
Lynchian.
flat, but it's a lame attempt.
No, this wasn't even a
Really?
lame attempt. Cabin Fever was a lame attempt. This was shit.
Well, it made me, after Cabin Fever, it kind of made me think maybe it was the same
No Coke beer.
attempt. Alright, and then we get back to the hospital. But as we're in the hospital, Laurie is lying in bed, and on the television, we're seeing the music video for The Night.
Nights in white satin, standing alone.
And when the, what's his name? the coroners were driving the van, we heard that song.
Yes.
When else did we hear it?
We haven't heard it again
that's right.
yet.
That's right. First was when
we heard in the van.
In the van before it crashes. Second is this scene where Laurie wakes up in the hospital and she goes over and sees Annie in the next room.
The thing that's really bugging me about this is, Laurie has definitely just been through major surgery. Her leg is in a cast. Her arm is wired shut, basically. It's got rods going through it. She should be morphined up through the eyeballs and unable to move. Waking up that night, and it's obvious because you still see the Halloween decorations everywhere, and they're still in full gear. This is the same night.
Just like the original
Just like
sequel.
the original. But she should not be able to move. Hell, she should be in ICU for crying out loud. She's in her own little room, and there's like a sleeping nurse there. She should be in intensive care, being observed. Painkillers keeping her from even moving whatsoever. Full body traction, she's not. She just gets up and walks. There's a little slight discomfort. It's like, ow, ow, okay, I'm walking.
Yeah. So she sees that Annie is in the room next to her, and she's unconscious, and she's like kissing Annie on the forehead, saying that she's sorry that everything that happened, and that she loves her. Again, not horribly enacted, very realistic. If you and a close friend of yours have just been through something traumatic, it's actually kind of a sweet scene.
And Annie looks like somebody who's just been through something traumatic. She's stitched up all over her face, and she's unconscious.
Then Laurie moves out into the hallway, and a nurse sees her and goes over and is like, "Oh, Miss Strode, you need to get back into bed. You can't be."
I want to stay with Annie. Why can't I stay with Annie?
Yeah, she's like, she wants to stay, and then she wants something else. I forget. She doesn't want to go back to her room because she wants to.
She just wants to be.
She doesn't want to be. Yeah, she just doesn't want to be in a room by herself. So,
but she wasn't. There was a nurse in her room. She was just asleep.
There's a page over the hospital PA system that says that emergencies just come in. So the nurse is like, "Can you see yourself back to bed? I have to go deal with this." And so she goes and leaves Laurie in the hallway, and then Laurie stands there for a second with an IV, still in her arm. She's dragging it along with her, and eventually she's like, "You know what, nurse? I think I need something." She's like, "Wait a minute, the intense pain has just hit me."
Oh, yeah, I shouldn't be walking.
She goes
That's right.
Maybe she has a healing factor.
Yeah.
Her brother is Sabretooth.
It doesn't
That is
work.
true.
That's a good point. She goes over to the nurse's station, and she's in there for a minute, and then in comes the same nurse who we just saw, and she turns, and there's a small hole in her throat, and
she just
blood just starts gushing out.
And it's like, oh, you did it? Because when she walks through the door, she's all fine, la-di-da, and she's surprised that she's now bleeding all over the place. Like, I've been hurt. I didn't notice that this happened.
So she starts bleeding out. Laurie realizes something is terribly wrong, so she starts and walks Michael, and he doesn't see Laurie at first. He just stabs the shit out of this nurse, and every time he does, and every time he stabs her,
but then he stops, and then he stabs her again.
Stabs again and again and again. Stops, looks at her, and he's like,
not stabbed enough.
One more for good measure.
See, this is what I meant by, not to contradict you, but when you said all the kills, I had to, because the stabbing kills are just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
All the non-stabbings are brutal and cool, but the stabbings, the Frankenstein grunts and the repetition of it, it's not brutal. It's not. It's just. I get it, and then it's funny because.
But you gotta figure in Michael's mind, a person cannot be stabbed enough. But there is a certain amount of symmetry. It's like, oh, that's uneven. I gotta stab her again.
See, a person can't be stabbed enough, but I would think he wants to get to more stabbing of more people.
But as we observe, as Laurie, who is now running through the hospital, mind you,
she does. They do a half-assed job of hobbling, but yeah, you don't buy it because,
as you can see, everyone else in the hospital has already been stabbed.
Right.
He gives her. Oh, that's right. Yeah, she's walking.
She comes across a couple dead bodies.
Yeah. She gets out of the hospital eventually after some more cat and mouse with Michael, and she's outside in the pouring rain, and she sees a guard shack at the edge of the hospital. So she goes walking over there to try to get to somebody, and there's nobody in there. So she goes in.
She goes into it.
And she's looking around for a second.
And the TV's on.
And guess what's playing on the TV?
Nights in White Satin. Now, Nights in White Satin is a long song.
Not that fucking long.
I
checked.
checked.
Not in Agata Davida.
It's only 7 minutes, 41 seconds long. this is what? We've been listening to the song for 15 minutes now?
Yeah.
It's not that long.
But the thing that makes it really funny is, like, don't you get it? 'Cause I love you. I get it? I love you, sister. Oh, I had to think about that one for a minute.
Michael
plus-
Myers' sister!
She's watching it on TV. It's on TV in the guard shack, right? But the first time we hear it is on the radio.
Yes, so it's actually transcended mediums at this point. And the next thing she's going to put on her iPod.
Wait,
But did they have iPods in the 70s?
Oh, wait, that's right, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But did they have support rods like that in the 70s?
They
for a
didn't have
broken arm?
any of that stuff in the 70s.
She's just about to leave, and up comes the security guard from outside. He goes, "What are you doing, miss?" And she's like, "Please, please, he's outside, he's out there, he's out there.
Now,
he's out
I'll
there.
take care of you. Now, I'm Buddy, and I'll take care of you."
My name's Buddy. I'll take care of you. And he actually, for the voice, wasn't like, "What the fuck did you do in the mouse shack, bitch?" You know?
Yeah.
It's like, wow. And
I like
He's
he's
a
the second
nice guy.
decent sort of
Yeah.
character in the
Decent
movie.
character.
And because he's a decent character, what must happen? Death! Death must descend upon him
I like
with
how his
swift.
name was Buddy. Do you think?
Oh, yeah, good.
Flanagan was the one that
Buddy.
pointed it out. Do you think that he's in any way a reference to Bucky from the fourth movie?
Ah.
Because he's has
Bucky,
similar-
Buddy.
That's how I
Yeah.
assumed it, yeah.
Wait a minute, we're not talking about Captain America's Bucky.
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Wait. Yes.
Then I've stopped
Now,
listening.
Winter Soldier.
at this point,
Winter
Michael
Soldier.
Myers has moved on from stabby knife to fire axe.
Yeah, they show him
Which
smash
changes
open.
size
Yes,
drastically.
throughout the entire sequence, it started out as,
like
fire
a
hatchet,
hatchet, yeah.
and now it's full-blown
It's
fire
you can chop
axe.
wood with this thing. Yeah.
And, he kills Buddy with it. Poor Buddy. Buddy dies. Buddy was I've seen that actor in many things
Oh yeah,
before.
he's very recognizable.
He
but I
was
don't know his name.
the most recognizable thing you've probably seen him for. It was the guy who plays Tom in Office Space, the guy with the jump to conclusions mat and he gets in the accident.
Okay, yeah,
that was him.
That's it.
Yeah, and he always plays kind of a nicer, quiet kind of guy, and it works here. And naturally, he's like, "Oh, you must die."
My buddy. My buddy.
As your blood,
Hey,
as your blood.
Dorff.
Yeah!
Oh,
Hey!
My head just exploded!
Yes.
Did you eat a hot dog?
No,
I'm not afraid of a little meat.
So
Michael
yeah.
starts bashing through the door.
Lori
well,
hides.
the wall.
Yeah, Lori
With his
hides under the
axe.
desk as Michael's coming in. Frankenstein mode and all. He takes one swipe at Lori with the axe, and we get the classic of her waking up in bed. It's all been a dream, folks. It's all been a dream.
Because remember, at the very end, Knights in White Satin was still playing, and now it all makes sense. It was a dream.
So let me get this straight. They were like,
first
well,
20 minutes.
They said they wanted to disassociate themselves for the, from the original sequel. I'm like, so you have a dream sequence just like it for the first 25 minutes of the movie?
Yep.
Like, what?
Well, I don't personally believe that the whole thing was a dream sequence.
No, I agree with you on this.
I believe everything, once Michael started murdering in the hospital, from there on
Yes.
was a dream sequence.
I agree. I took everything from her waking up in the bed to the guardhouse as being a dream, but they were actually showing us the thing of how the body walked away. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Wait a minute.
What?
I'm sorry again, folks. Apologize. Bear with us.
It has
We're trying
been
to-
3 weeks.
been-
We do
it's
It's been
Well,
3 weeks,
we
and
don't have
we don't have a
detailed notes, 'cause-
DVD to.
yeah.
We couldn't rewatch it. Not that we
Thankfully.
would.
They said that they never found a body.
No, they never found
They
a body.
keep saying it.
But
Does
they
that
meant
mean?
after the
accident.
ambulance
That's what I was
crash.
going to ask. Does that
Yeah.
mean that they never found one at the Myers house?
See,
or
I
from
thought
the
what you were
accident?
going to say initially too. I'm like, so the whole thing was a dream because
No.
they never found a body on
Okay.
the side. But no, it was after the crash.
Okay, so yeah, it's basically meant to be that the thing with the cow and the two paramedics and cow was real, and then everything in the hospital was not real.
Yeah,
it was all in
post-Michael's
Lori's
escape,
head.
yeah.
Okay.
Which explains how someone who shouldn't be able to wake up because of all the morphine in her system was up and hobbling around.